The iPhone 18 Pro Max is about to get expensive, really expensive. Tim Cook himself said it. Price hikes are coming. The reason isn't Apple being greedy. It's a global chip shortage, and it's bigger than you think. So today, real numbers, real quotes, and the big question everyone's asking, will this phone flop or sell like crazy? I read your comments. A lot of you are worried. Prices already feel high enough, even before any increase. Some of you asked, is this shortage even real, or just an excuse to charge more? Others asked if this could be the year Apple finally prices people out. Good questions. Let's look at the actual numbers, not just the panic. New here. I cover confirmed Apple news every week. No hype, just facts. Subscribe now. Let's break this down. Let's start with the biggest confirmation. On June 17, 2026, Tim Cook told the Wall Street Journal something blunt. Price increases are, in his own words, unavoidable. He also said he's never seen anything like this in over 40 years at the company. That's not a random leaker. That's the CEO on the record in a major newspaper. So this isn't a rumor anymore. This is Apple admitting it directly, before the phone even exists officially. Here's the actual cause. Memory chips, DRAM and NAND flash prices have surged between 63 and 75% year over year. Some estimates go even further, over 300% since 2023. Why? AI data centers. Companies building AI servers are buying up memory chips at a massive scale, competing directly with phone makers for the same factories. That leaves less supply for phones, laptops, and everything else. IDC calls this a permanent shift, not a temporary shortage. Not something that fixes itself in a few months, unlike the pandemic shortage a few years back. That older shortage was demand-driven, and it corrected itself once supply chains caught up. This one is different because AI demand for memory just keeps growing year after year. Let's get specific. Real component numbers. 12 gigabytes of RAM cost Apple about $39 for the iPhone 17 Pro. That same 12 gigabytes now costs around $145. That's a 272% jump. For the exact same amount of memory in the exact same phone category. For context, memory and storage used to make up just 9% of the total cost for a 256 gigabyte iPhone 17 Pro. Total component cost for the top-tier Pro Max could rise by nearly $300. That could push the priciest 1TB model past $1999 for the first time ever in iPhone history. Here's why Apple can't just cut RAM to save money. The iPhone 18 Pro Max needs 12 gigabytes to run Apple's full on-device AI model. That model powers big features. A more expressive Siri voice, much more accurate dictation. Drop below 12 gigabytes and you lose the full feature set, running a weaker version of Apple Intelligence instead. Some cheaper phones with 8 or 9 gigabytes will exist, but they simply won't get the same experience. So Apple is stuck, paying more for memory or cutting the AI features people actually want to show off. Now, the real price predictions. IDC estimates the Pro and Pro Max could cost $200 more than last year. That would put the Pro Max starting price around $1399, up from $1199 today for the base storage option. Some analysts, like Jeff Pu, originally predicted Apple would hold prices flat, calling it an aggressive pricing strategy to protect market share. That prediction got overtaken by Tim Cook's own statement just weeks later in front of a national newspaper. So the flat price theory no longer holds up well. A real increase looks likely, even if the exact number isn't locked in yet. Apple isn't just absorbing this quietly. Reports say Apple is pressuring display suppliers, Samsung and LG, to cut panel prices, even as screen technology gets more complex. That's Apple using its size and buying power to push costs down elsewhere in the phone. It won't cancel out the memory shortage completely, but it softens the blow a little and shows Apple is actively fighting the increase, not just passing it straight to you. Here's what makes this year genuinely different. The standard iPhone 18 and the cheaper iPhone 18e are delayed to spring 2027. That removes the budget entry point completely from this year's holiday shopping season. So this holiday, your choice is stark. Buy your old iPhone 17, or pay the higher price for a brand new Pro model. No middle ground option exists this time around, and that alone changes buyer behavior. Now, the real question, will higher prices actually hurt sales? Here's the case for a flop. Higher prices during a squeezed economy could push buyers to wait longer or switch to cheaper Android phones instead. Losing the budget iPhone option this year removes an entire price tier of buyers entirely right when the holidays hit. Some people may just keep their current iPhone another year instead of paying more, especially if their current phone still works fine. Resale values could also take a hit if this generation is seen as overpriced compared to last year's model, making trade-ins less attractive too. Now, the case for success. Apple's Pro Max buyers already pay premium prices year after year and keep coming back without hesitation. The new AI features are a genuine reason to upgrade, not just a marketing label slapped on the box. Apple has no real competitor offering the same ecosystem at any price, which gives it real pricing power. And historically, Apple's most expensive phones have still sold in huge numbers even after price increases, like we saw with previous Pro Max launches. So the honest answer, nobody knows for certain yet. But the pattern from past years favors strong sales, not a flop. Here's where things stand. The shortage is real. Tim Cook confirmed it himself on the record. The price increase is likely somewhere between $200 and $300 more, depending on the model and storage size. Whether that hurts sales depends entirely on how much people actually value the new AI features versus just wanting a working phone. History says Apple usually wins this bet. But this year carries more real risk than usual, because there's no cheaper option to fall back on, and that changes the math for a lot of buyers. So that's the honest picture. Real shortage, price hike, a genuinely open question on sales. Not every year is this uncertain. This one actually is. If this helped, hit like. Subscribe for the confirmed price the second Apple announces it this fall. See you in the next one.